spoke to him on the eve of his departure for the movie's premiere in London tomorrow.
I think you can say quite honestly that it's only because we made the films in New Zealand that these actually got made at all. They would have been impossible to make anywhere else in the world. I think everybody involved in The Lord of the Rings, the crew, you know, the cameramen, the actors, I would imagine none of us in our careers will ever do anything that was as technically complicated and as exhausting as doing these 3 movies back to back.
Cut. Good. Okay, we'll just do one more.
Peter Jackson, he's the hottest movie director we've ever had. A one-man think big project who refuses to suck up to Hollywood.
I mean, I've never read somebody else's script. I've never been hired by anybody. I've always just worked with writers here and developed my own ideas, my own material.
It was good.
You know, and gone out and done the films that I want to do. And if I can continue doing that in New Zealand, then I have absolutely no interest in going anywhere else, because this is definitely the best place in the world to live.
Hollywood doesn't know what to make of this barefooted, short-wearing, unconventional Kiwi.
They don't know how to react to me. They don't understand me, which is always good. It always, when you're in a negotiating position or you're wanting to kind of get something, it's always good to have them unsettled, because they're used to manipulating people. You know, they're used to getting their own way. You know, lawyers and studios and the whole system is sort of designed in this sort of rather smooth, silky way. And then I kind of come along and they just don't know. I don't react in the traditional way. I don't have the same ego and ambition that they're used to seeing in filmmakers.
And what are your impressions of Hollywood? Does it drive you nuts the way they operate or not?
Hollywood's driven by money and obsession with success, and it's a very it's all a little bit fake and phony.
Stop. Whoa.
At 40, Peter Jackson's come a very long way in the movies.
Last putt from behind camera.
But even as a small boy, his life revolved around film.
Just try one more.
I can hardly remember a time before I used to be interested in movies, because when I was about 5 or 6, I got heavily influenced by Thunderbirds, Jerry Anderson's puppet show, which was on TV here in 1965, 66. So I used to take my little Matchbox toys out into the garden, and I used to make roads on the sides of dirt banks, and I'd have little dramas where some dinky toy would be half hanging over the cliff and some other toy would have to come and save it.
At just 9, he made his first movie out of one of those little garden dramas.
A friend of ours gave my parents a Super 8 movie camera, which I immediately commandeered. I got friends of mine, we grabbed all of our parents' army uniforms that were in closets and things, and tin hats, and I dug a trench in my parents' back garden, and we made a little war movie.
What did your folks think, you know, of your obsession, for want of a better word?
Looking back on my childhood, I think my parents were a very good example of supporting your child's ambitions. Don't impose your own desires. I mean, I don't know whether they wanted me to be a lawyer or an architect or a doctor. I'm not sure, because they never pushed me in that direction. They saw what was interesting to me and where my dreams lay, and they did everything they could to support that.
As a teenager, he became more adventurous, experimenting with stop-motion animation.
I was interested in model making, and I used to make cardboard models and film them with my Super 8 camera, and I guess I would have probably been seen as being a bit of a nerd. I didn't feel like one particularly, but I'm sure, you know, I never got to do things that kids usually do at the weekends, like go and hang out together and go to parties.
Nerd or not, his talent was soon recognised when he entered a short film in a competition on a children's television program.
And Spot On announced this Super 8 film competition, and we shot a movie, and it had these guys fighting this Cyclops monster, and I built the monster, and I did a little bit of animation, and I think I acted in the film as well. We didn't win, but I think we got a commendation for the special effects. It was a huge thrill, because they played a little 2 or 3 minute segment from the film, and it was, oh yeah, no, it was very exciting.
Gore is what excites Peter Jackson. The gorier, the better. But always with humour, like his first major movie, Bad Taste. On weekdays, he worked as a photo engraver to finance his weekend hobby.
I'd film on a Sunday, and then I'd have another 6 days of work before I could film again. And during those 6 days, I'd be sitting there at the Evening Post working, dreaming up ideas. It was very much a make-it-up-as-you-go-along type thing.
Bad Taste is now a worldwide cult classic. Where does that come from, your obsession with the gory side of things?
Well, I love splatter movies, they're called. I love the concept of comedy and outrageous horror. I'm not a horror movie fan making sort of serious, pompous, pretentious films. I think I'm much more interested in the comedy. Making a gory horror movie is a really good strategic move because you can spurt the old maple syrup out. You can go to the butcher and get a bit of offal. You can shoot this stuff and you can actually make a big impression on people.
One of the great Kiwi classics is Meet the Feebles. Written in just 3 weeks, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets the Muppets.
People think it's a satire on the Muppets, but it's actually a satire on humans and human behaviour, you know, portrayed with puppets.
With box office success came bigger and better movies like Brain Dead. By now, Jackson's resume had Hollywood wanting him. He shot his first serious feature film, Heavenly Creatures, the real-life story of New Zealand's notorious Parker Hume murder case.
Nothing but a cheap little tart. Well, I guess I take after you then.
It was the turning point in his career. He got an Academy Award nomination for the script. He also wrote The Frighteners, a ghost story with dazzling computer-generated special effects.
Would like to cruise with some style, man.
Michael J. Fox had the lead role.